Hi, I'm Antonia, and I am the host of the Working Moms Playbook. Here, real moms share real stories, building businesses while battling infertility, hitting breastfeeding goals without sacrificing their careers, finding their style as new moms, and so much more. And it's just season 1. Let's jump in because let's face it, moms don't have time to waste. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Working Moms Playbook. I'm your host, Antonia. Today, I'm joined by Viviane Ayers, a licensed esthetician and skincare wellness expert who is passionate about helping women prioritize self-care, especially moms. After becoming a mother herself, Viviane learned firsthand how easy it is to put yourself last and how that really impacts not only your skin and body, but your overall well-being. So welcome, Viviane. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today.
Oh, Antonia, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited about this episode.
Oh, me too. It is so crazy to think of how long we've actually known each other. Like back in the Philly style days, I remember when I first came in for a facial with you, and it was just so good. I feel like I just melted in the chair.
I was so happy to hear your feedback because I understand the whole stressful life of, an editor and the pressure. And the facial is much more than just, a glowing. It's also about like decompressing. So I'm so happy that you felt that way.
Yeah. And that was like pre-motherhood me, just full blown editor-in-chief Antonia. Now I've entered this like new chapter. Now I'm in the same chapter as you, right? How old is it?
Yes.
You have a son, right?
Yes, I have a son. He's 19 now in college.
Oh my goodness.
My baby's in college, I can't believe. And then my stepson is 13.
Okay. Yeah. So you're in like a different chapter than me, but you've been through what I am going through.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's different. Like when you're a single parent, there is a different kind of pressure. And when it comes to really care for yourself, is even non-existent. And then now I got married in 2023.
Right.
But I've been with my husband for 5 years, and being a stepmom was a big adjustment as well, because I have my morning routine. Now I also need to consider my stepson when we do have him, because we get him every other week.
Right.
So adjusting that schedule too, it's a journey.
And you're co-parenting too on top of it all.
Correct.
Oh my goodness. Well, you're just a superstar. You're doing it all. And I always love watching your journey, which kind of leads me into your personal story. I, of course, know who you are, and some of our listeners here might know who you are, but I'm going to say that probably a lot of them don't, because we're going beyond just the greater Philadelphia area. So I would love to start out by having you just tell us a little bit more about your journey. So then that way we can all get to know you a little bit better. But not only like what led you into the world of skin wellness, but also how motherhood ended up shaping your approach to self-care.
Well, to be honest with you, motherhood started being oldest of 3, caring for my brother and sister back home in Brazil.
Okay.
I had that experience, right? My mom had to work, my father had to work, so cooking and taking care of them since I was probably they are 6 years younger than me. So that was that, right? And then when I came to U.S., coming to U.S., I came to U.S. as a nanny. So then I had to watch, 3, 4 kids. I worked with 2 families, and one of the families really encouraged me to consider to go to massage school because I used to massage their shoulders. They're like, oh my gosh, Viviane, you have great hands. And then I was like, really? So then they said, you should consider going to massage therapy school. It's a great career. So I considered that time, and then I had to go back home, to Brazil, and then decided to come back to Philadelphia because the second family was in Florida. So I lived in Florida for like a year.
Got it.
And so when I came back to Philadelphia, I befriended a group of Capoeira Angola friends, which It's like a small community of Americans that lived in Brazil for years. And so I went back into practicing Brazilian martial arts, and they became my adopted family. So I kind of share with them, this idea of becoming a massage therapist, and divinely introduced to a friend of a friend who was teaching in a massage therapy school. And so that's how I got into the beauty wellness industry that way. So I went to school part-time. And then part-time, I was cleaning houses and doing all the immigrant, glamorous life. And then I started kind of freelancing as a massage therapist. And one of my friends at that time, I had to cover his shift at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And then I started working, covering the shifts. And then all of a sudden, somebody got hurt. And then I became full-time with the Ritz-Carlton Hotel as a massage therapist.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then, as I was working there, one of the managers said, "Hey, Viviane, you should consider to go into aesthetic school. Then you'll be able to, provide two services." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went to aesthetic school part-time and working part-time. So that's how I got into aesthetics. As I was studying aesthetics, then I was like, oh, this is fun. Oh, this is, because I'm a Sagittarius. So I'm always learning. I'm always excited. I'm learning different things. So I fell in love with skincare. So then I was doing both for many years. And then a few years later, I was invited to, I was doing well, in retail and rebooking. And one of the product lines that Ritz carried at that time is an Italian line. And one of the trainers came in and she said, "Viv," she actually got a treatment with me. She's like, "Viv, you're amazing." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." She said, "We're looking for educators for the brand." And I was like, "Are you crazy? I can barely speak English." So she's like, "This is an Italian line. Most of our of educators, they are from different countries, and you have enough to be able to teach, but your skill set is you can't teach that. So I can help you to focus on how to teach others just with your basic English." So then I got into education for different product lines over the years. So I've done that for 15 years. But my whole career, I would say 23 years.
Wow.
And I was traveling a lot. So going back to motherhood. So my son was, when I started traveling, I would say I had to drop him off at 6 weeks after because his father and I weren't together. So my village was able to, take care of me with my son, where one of my best friends will pick him up. It was the same daycare. So I would drop him off to her. I will be 4 days or 5 days, another country or another state. And balancing that, yes, guilt was a part of the process.
Yeah.
And and it was hard, but because of the village, because of, again, the dream of an immigrant, there is no option. So I had to make peace with that. And so when I had to have him over the weekend, I will overcompensate. So he was first and I was last. I was exhausted.
Right. Which is not like a rare circumstance for moms with careers, right? Like we're so busy during the week, and then the weekend we just sacrifice everything to be with our kids, and there's, all of a sudden Sunday comes around and we haven't done anything for ourselves.
But I'll tell you this, my son was, I'll say 12, I'll say 14. He said to me, "Mom," I'll say, "Antonio, let's go after work." I would pick him up because he would stay with every other week. He would stay with his father when I had to do trips like 10 days. So I'll get him on a Friday, and I had to work here in town because I was freelancing here as well. I had some private clients. So I would just overcompensate, taking him to his favorite. He loves sushi. So I'll take him to sushi and then go to the movies with him. And I will fall asleep, but I was with him. Fast forward, my son was 14 and he said, "Baby, I'm so sorry. I can't I'm exhausted. I won't be able to do this or that. He was like, Mom, no. You always make time for me, Mom. Even when you were tired, remember this, remember that. So those moments that I felt like I have to do it, my son was carrying that as an opportunity to spend some quality time with his mother, right? So that was rewarding for me. When it comes to self-care, that phase, it was when I was traveling, I would book one more day to go and get a spa treatment or do a mini facial in the hotel because I was exhausted.
Right.
But for me, self-care is necessary for my own peace. Meditation, that is my religion. I meditate every morning and getting back into my Peloton and all of that. So if mommy doesn't feel good, nobody's good.
Right. Would you say that's really what like self-care means to you? I mean, these days, the term gets thrown around so much, right? It's like everything is self-care. And to a degree, I do agree with that, but it's also kind of the fact that self-care, in my opinion, is defined by doing something that is truly just for yourself, that gives you a moment of peace and happiness towards your own soul. Because we can find happiness in so many different chapters or facets. Like, you know, we find happiness out of spending time with our kids. We find happiness out of, you know, going out with friends if we have that opportunity. But is that really self-care when it comes down to it? Like, yeah, it feeds the soul, but I think there's just like a deeper meaning to that where a spa treatment or a quick facial those things heal that part of the soul more and in a different way than taking your kid out to the movie, as you said, right? Although it's like that heals you too.
Yeah, but it's different because I'm glad that you touched on the facial, because when you get any body work or a facial, you are actually in touch with your own self, your body. That is self-care. There is self-love, self-devotion. Anytime that you start adding other people to the self-care, it's not self-care, in my opinion.
Right.
Self-care for me, let's go very deep and very simple at the same time. Self-care for me, as I have learned through therapy, self-care for me is saying yes to myself and no to others.
Yeah, which is so hard. I mean, it's hard for anybody, but it's especially hard for a woman. And then it's hard for a woman who works because there's so many people that we answer to, whether we work for ourselves or whether we work for somebody else. Like there's so many people that we answer to.
Yeah, and I will say this. Once you learn what you need in order for you to function on a higher level but still grounded, then it's easier for you to say, it's easier for me to say, Antonia, unfortunately, I won't be able to do this podcast interview because I have this commitment. I don't have to justify it, but I don't feel like to do this interview because I don't like you. I said yes to myself and no to you. You get it? So it's just certain situations that if you really think about it, and I have to thank my therapist for that. If you really think about it, we need to deprogram that idea that we always gonna have to say yes.
Yeah.
Because we want to play the good girl or we want to please the other person. But at the same time, you're not eating or you're not really being present for your baby, for your child, because you're over here thinking about that email, that conversation, or I should have said no. When I said yes, you get it? So for me, self-care, self-devotion, I treated self-care differently.
Yeah.
And learning how does it look like, put on paper, talk to a friend, a therapist, a coach or whatever, because it is hard and difficult, Antonia, but it's simple.
Yeah. It's really about honoring yourself too. Like you said, being able to say no to somebody. I just had someone do that today. I had a podcast interview scheduled earlier today, and she reached out and emailed me and asked to reschedule because she just, there were just things going on. She didn't feel like she was in her right mindset. And I honestly appreciated that because she honored herself and honored what her body was telling her. And that's very important.
Yeah, and what is important for you might not be important for another mother, right? Because her experience or her idea of worthiness is to help the whole village, even though she's just exhausted, right?
Yep.
For you, it's like, no, I want to be able to perform in a high level. And in order for me to do that, I need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do my meditation, to do my exercise, to have a cup of tea before my baby wakes up. You know, you have to adjust your life as life is happening. I think that as women, we create excuses because of society, because of our mothers and grandmothers, seeing them overworking, being tired. So we normalize that. Right? So now it's like, okay, how can I set a time for myself only? For me, I had to get up early because by 7 o'clock, everybody's up, notifications, everybody needs me. So when am I going to have time for myself? So for me, my self-care, it looks like, I do a mask in the shower. I am meditating. I am affirming to the universe that everything is good in my life. And that is my self-care. And learning how to say no. That's my latest one.
It's a big one. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And you know what else is so hard? I don't know if you can relate to this or not, but it can really be hard to, especially in motherhood, when you're working also on top of it, it can be really hard to move away from the idea that we have to earn that self-care. Like we have to earn that facial. We have to earn that TV show at the end of the day. If we didn't, finish absolutely everything on our checklist, like why would we not finish that checklist instead of watching our show and taking care of ourselves? Like that's like the earning is something that's really hard to move away from. I think especially it has been for me, and I was always about self-care. Pre-motherhood, I was like getting a facial a month. I was doing at-home facials. I was going on runs. But then again, like life was all about me. So now I know I don't have to earn it, but it is sometimes hard to move away from that concept. Have you been able to adopt any methods to move away from that idea that we have to earn that self-care, or is that not something that you've really struggled with too much?
I don't struggle with that because I don't think I have earned to take care of myself.
Power to you.
I deserve that. I deserve that.
Yeah, we deserve it. That. We do.
Because we as women, we deserve that because we give so much. And so if you give so much, then how are you going to be able to even feed yourself?
Right.
So my husband in the beginning of our relationship, it was like, babe, what time are you going to be home? And I'm like, I'm a Sagittarius, so don't tell me what to do because I have things to do and I move with the wind. I move with, inspiration. So I don't know what time, babe. So, and here's why. I want to drive it slow. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm listening to my podcast. I am in silence. I'm doing what I want to do. That's my self-care, right? But when it comes to building the discipline so I have more time for myself or I have more time for my husband, I will say, okay, I have this to-do list and 5 things that I need to accomplish today. But if I get 3 minimum, guess what? I'm going to get that ice cream. I deserve this. It's not like, oh, here's the reward that you accomplished the 3 things. No, I deserve this. Good job, V. I'm my own coach, right?
Yeah.
This is new to me, Antonia. Like, because I was overworked, overwhelmed, and for even owning a business is another child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I consider this as my baby. It's 24/7 attention. There is no such thing as they are. Right? So for me, in order for me to make clear decisions now, I need to set that time for myself. I need to say no to certain events because I know I need to do these things. I'm in my 50s now. Parties has to start at 6:30. I have to be in bed by, 10:30, 11 o'clock, So these things that you start thinking about it, like, what is it very important to me? Quality time with myself and my family, but really reversing before was my family focus. And now it's not that I'm being selfish, but I'm being selfless. Like, I need the time to ground myself. I need the time to have a pedicure. Like, wow, a pedicure makes a huge difference in my life because I have somebody else massaging my feet.
Yeah.
And then I'm in touch with my body. I'm in touch with all my senses. I'm clear, thinking at that moment because I made that time for myself. I'm not on the phone. I am there just experiencing everything. So going back to working women, and I serve them in my practice, right? I want you to just, let's talk about it. Let's talk in the beginning, like what is going on, blah, blah, blah. Why you're breaking out, what's going on in your life. This. Okay, good. We do the first part of the facial. I let her talk. And then the massage. Okay, Antonia, now I want you to just enjoy this.
You know what? You did that exact thing. When we had the facial, that is exactly what you did.
This is the only time you have for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have the world to care for it after this. And before this, I want you to unplug from that. It's very important, and I really work with my clients, and when I'm on social media, like, you got to, what you said is hard, it's difficult, but it's simple. We need to create a discipline to put yourself first.
Yeah.
How does it look like in your calendar, in your agenda? You got to get up earlier than normal. That means you have to sacrifice some time to get off, now watch your favorite show. Or you're going to have to kind of trade some, for you to gain that time for yourself. Whatever it makes you just take a deep breath and like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the world. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be meditation. It could be a freaking ice cream.
Yeah.
But you needed to make sure you have to train yourself to say, you know what? Me time now. And me time for social is a sheet mask. Me time it's much more than that. Again, going back to the simplest thing is to what I want to do. What brings me joy.
Yep.
Looking at the baby brings me joy, right? But what about me?
And it can change. It can change all the time. Sometimes you might need a really powerful workout. Other days you might need a yoga session. Maybe you need an ice cream, like you said. Can't say no to that, really. And we're a big ice cream family over here. Yeah. But it can be hard. And for those moms who feel completely stretched thin, now you and I are self-care is just in our blood. It became a part of our blood a long time ago. Even though I have decreased the amount of time that I'm spending on myself, I think I was overspending before, so now I'm probably normal. But for those moms who feel so completely stretched thin to the point where maybe they weren't prioritizing self-care prior to becoming a motherhood, so now they're really not prioritizing it, where would you say is a realistic place for them to start?
I have a little ritual that I do, a hot shower, and I sprinkle some essential oils. And I'm just in there just washing my day away.
Yeah. Wait, can I tell you, like that, when the baby was a newborn, that a hot shower at the end of the day, it did not matter if it was 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, like before I was getting into that bed to deal with the evening shift of my son, like I needed that hot shower. So it is so funny that you say that, because that was my form of self-care in that 4th trimester.
Listen, that is like heaven.
It is.
So it's not expensive. It is luxurious, and you are in that shower just cleansing yourself and all the energy of your day, frustration. It's if you want one tip, that's it.
Yep. I really think back onto that and the big difference that made.
And then while you're in the shower, do your mask. Before you jump in the shower, apply your, clay mask or your hydrating mask, and just jump in there, then you get a mini facial.
Yeah.
Right there. You have the aromatherapy, you have your body, suppled, and, the pores are enlarged, and so you have all that treatment into your skin. Like, we can get creative, girl. We just need to get out of that mold.
Yeah, we're
that we don't
multitasking.
have. Yeah, we don't have time to take care of ourselves. Yes, we do. We just need to make choices that you understand. Like,
yeah, I get it. And it's hard to get into that pattern for so many, but
yeah,
once you do, like, what's the saying? It takes like 30 days to set a true habit. Like, that's, I mean, you just do something for yourself once a day, every day, no matter how big, no matter how small, it then becomes a pattern, and it becomes a habit for yourself to do something for yourself every day.
Antonia, dropping a few drops of essential oil.
Yeah.
Take 3 deep breaths, and then you have your hands holding your heart. That is another simple, like, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for the health of my body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful. So even that is another thing that it puts yourself in that gratitude moment, a grateful moment where you're like, you know what? I had a good day. It's a reflective time. And that is, for me, self-care, self-devotion, self-love, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of the idea of learning how to breathe. I mean, we obviously know how to breathe, but really learning the connection of breath makes such a difference in your mood and how you react to things and how your body works. So just taking those deep breaths, like you said, it could make all the difference. And it's so fast and it's so easy, and it doesn't require you to go out and spend $200 and book a fancy appointment. It just requires you to find a quiet room and to have a moment to yourself. You could do it in the car before you go into your house.
Yeah, I have done that. Listen, how many times, Antonia, I parked my car in my garage and I sat there and I was like, okay, let me just ground myself, because now I need to be a wife, and I have to be a mom. Yeah. You get it? So again, what I'm saying to you is consciously choosing yourself. Period. Right? Period. How does it look like? Look for simple things to not only do, but to integrate into your life. Yeah. Again, go back into, I think I know that we are overworked as a working mother, as a woman in business, as a girlfriend, as a daughter, all of that, right? But the only person that you're always going to have access to is yourself. Yep. And you got to nurture her. And how can you do that? Simple things and integrating that, because excuses we always going to find and justify, right? Even the breath. Let me say this, girl. We don't breathe correctly because we're too busy thinking about that email, that meeting, that bill, the baby, all of that. We are not in touch with our bodies, so we have that shallow breath. Yeah. But when you really like intentionally belly breath, then you in your body, and you are able to do that through the senses, the touch, the smell, the sound. All your senses are engaged when you are present, and the only way to be present is through the breath. So that's why, like, I start my treatments with, deep breathing, ground breath, because I want my clients to disconnect with what was happening before they got here. It's so important. And when you don't, it leads to a lot of stress, or some moms have, well, most moms actually, I can't even say some moms. Most of us, or all of us, have a lack of sleep. Yeah. Which then leads to stress and emotional exhaustion. And that, of course, not only shows up in our overall health, but it also shows up on our skin, which kind of goes back to when you were talking about how your treatments go. And one of your first questions is like looking at the skin and saying, what's going on with, what's going on here? I see this on your skin. And I remember you asking me about that. I think I had breakouts when I came to see you, and you were like, you're breaking out. What is going on? And it was probably some sort of stressful deadline. But as a mom, it's true. Like, it shows up on your skin. I mean, aside from the hormonal changes that are happening after you have a baby, like, there's so much, and it all shows up on your skin. Big time. So the body goes into lack of sleep, lack of water, and lack of breath. Again, because stress, right? You're shallow breath. So your body is not getting the full oxygenation. So it is affecting all the organs. The essential things that we should be doing, which is sleeping, because when we go to bed, but our body's still tense. Because your nerve system is not regulated. Your nerve system is still in the office. It's still reading that email, still having an argument with your husband, still your son asking for money from college. Like all of these things are going through your body, right?
Yeah.
But we are wired that way, and that's why when going back to what I was saying, it's important to take that moment and really look yourself in the mirror or pay attention in yourself through getting treatments or even taking the time to do your skincare. Look at yourself in the mirror and see what's going on with your skin. Oh, I'm not sleeping well. Oh, I'm not drinking water. That's why my skin is dry. Oh, I remember Viviane said that I need to stay away from sugar, but that's why I have this breakout. She's going to kill me when she sees me, right? Because your internal health, your skin is telling yourself what is going on, because the skin is a mirror of your internal health. So you are, nursing, you are deprived of nutrients unless you are on your game every day, making sure that you're sleeping, make sure you're drinking water, make sure that you have a healthy diet. But even there requires a lot of discipline.
Yeah. Hi, that's me for the past year and a half.
Yeah. I've been there, Mama.
It's so hard.
I know, and so I feel like this is a phase for you, right? Or for any new mom that just had a baby the past, year, 8.5, it's still 2, is still discovering, is to ask for help.
Yeah.
Meaning, husband, I need to take a relaxing shower. I need your help. Boom. And that's another thing. We don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because there will be, I can't handle this. I can't handle this. Oh, I don't want to bother him. I don't want to, no, you got to ask for help.
It's a huge role. It plays a huge role by learning to ask for help. And I feel like too, for me, especially, like I sometimes have trouble asking for help on the weekends or, maybe it's a nighttime, whatever, after work. And it's because I might have help during the day that day, right? Like I don't have help every day, but when I do, I'm so grateful for it. But it's always used towards, cleaning the house, doing the dishes, doing work, doing whatever, nothing that has to do with me. I can't even tell you the last time I took a nap, but you feel guilty asking for more help after you've had help the entire day.
So that's a part of your life as a new mom to design and see, okay, let's say a Thursday evening, hey, Javi, I'm going to take my shower. Can you wash the babe for me?
Yeah.
Take your time. Take your sweet time.
Oh, you know what? I just did it last Sunday. I really wanted to go back to a yin yoga class, and I just was like craving it. It was one of those things. And Johnny watched the baby. He took him to my brother-in-law's house, and the baby played with his cousins, and I got to go to 75 blissful minutes of yin, and I was so much better because of it.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Choosing yourself, it's asking for not help but support, because guess what? It took 2 to make that baby.
Yes, it did. It did.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, if you could think of one thing, it's like you said, now your son is 19, he's in college. Obviously, you are still momming him, I'm sure, left and right.
Yeah.
But he's no longer.
And my stepson too.
Yeah, and your stepson too. But you're no longer in babyhood. I mean, your stepson is clearly home, but he's on and off. If you could go back and tell yourself as a brand new mother that one thing that you think would have made a difference for you, what would that have been?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's hard. There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would tell myself, really. And I'm only a year and a half into this.
Yeah. But you know what? One thing that really relaxed and soothed me was having skin contact with my son. and smelling him. That was very soothing to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we nurse more than 6 months.
Yeah.
Because of the cuddling that, you know, that is actually very good to regulate your nervous system, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Because you know, I was a single mother, I didn't have an option, Antonia. I just function on like automatic mode, you know?
Yeah, you were on all cylinders for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have a memory, or I wish that I was, you know, in a partnership at that time, but I did how I did it just based on what I could at that time, you know, and so for me, yeah, that's a very great question. I'm having a hard time to respond.
Or how about this one? Since you were a single mom, especially when your son was, now you have a husband, so you have that different support, but when your son was growing up, you didn't have that. And there are so many moms who are single moms, or whether they have been single moms for a while, or maybe they're freshly single moms, or maybe they're on the path to becoming single moms and they're really scared. What's something that you would tell them in that stage of life?
Yeah. So it's easier to put another woman in my place. because that's what I do for a living. So again, I think that asking for help, asking for support, asking and while the baby is sleeping, to have that camera, you know, the monitor in your bathroom, and just do a mini facial, you know, just create this micro times and spaces to nurture yourself, because if and when you are overwhelmed that time, you won't be present with your baby, with your child, or you'll be snappy and you will be taking care of that baby, highly stressed, that the baby's picking up on that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get it? So I tell my clients, like, you need to carve time in for yourself. And so all of them will say, but I don't have time. I don't know what to do. Again, it's easier for me to say because I'm not in that stage anymore, right? But it's possible. It's possible that you ask your best friend to watch your babe, your child, your toddler for a couple of hours, for you to take a long nap. I've done that. Right? I told my friend, hey, can you keep Antonia, you know, Saturday night? It's not because I'm going out on a date. I just wanted to sleep.
Yeah. A nice, uninterrupted sleep.
That's it. The next day, I was feeling like Beyonce. I was feeling like sexy. You know, like all this energy.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think that it's very simple, Antonia. And I think that the simplicity, we shy away from simplicity because we are programmed to complicate things.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it. And so for any mother, single mother, married mother, working mother, all of the mothers, and thanks to social media, good or bad, you see other women, they are balancing work and life. And they show like their workflow, and they show how they are redesigning their motherhood, you know, playbook, because they know that they function better when they do make time for themselves. It doesn't need to take 5 hours. Again, it can take 5 minutes in the car doing some breath work.
Yeah.
Or getting a facial with Viviane, you know, an hour and 15 minutes. And then you go back to your life.
Yeah.
So it goes back to this choice.
Yeah. Well, speaking of facials with Viviane, I mean, I definitely need to be coming to visit you soon, but
oh my gosh, yes,
it's been way too long.
I'll take care of you.
Yes, but you have also launched a product line that was not available when I last saw you. So before we sign off, I want you to tell us a little bit about it and really celebrate this, because this is huge.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I've been, my dream was to have my product line for many years, and so this year I was blessed enough to meet some people, and I was talking to manufacturers, and I work with a mentor, and she was like, "Listen, do it now, and use my resources." So, boom, Viviane Skin Wellness was born. I do have other brands, but I really want to create something that was affordable, but still with quality. The line is high, it's very hydrating because the other brands that I carry, they are more corrective.
Mm-hmm.
So they're strong in retinols and acids. So my line, it was more, the intention was to be more soothing, restorative, and has a little bit of acid as well, but it's more nourishing than anything else. So pretty affordable. I wanted to be in between the products that I carry. And we are doing very well. We can't keep them on the shelf. I was very, very intentional to bring in the products that I see my clients that need, like a brightening serum, the vitamin C, the standards, the retinol, the vitamin C, the brighteners. One of my favorite products are the cleanser, my calming aloe cleanser, and the brightening complex, which has niacinamide.
Ooh.
So yeah, so I'm in love with my baby, and then I'm not selling much of the other lines because I'm obsessed, and my clients are loving it. So
I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love seeing your growth, and I love the new product line. I think it's the perfect complement to your already amazing services. It has been an amazing treat getting to catch up and getting to talk to you more about skincare and self-care and wellness. And thank you for reminding us that self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. I thank you so much for reminding us about that. And I love how in general that you help moms see that caring for themselves is part of caring for their families. That was something you really touched on as well. So I'm so happy that I had you on. For those listening, you can find Viviane on Instagram at Viviane Airs Skin. So that's VIVIANEAIRESSKIN. And then on her website, you can find her at VivianeAirsSkinWellness.com. Thank you again, my dear friend, for coming on to the show. Thank you so, so much. And for those listening, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you follow the Working Moms Playbook for any other episodes we drop on every Wednesday. Leave a quick review or rating and share it with another mom who could use a reminder to pour back into herself. Thank you again for listening, and remember that taking care of you is part of the work of motherhood. We'll see you next time.